going on, friends? It's your boy Danny Brasco Bets. You are live and direct right here at Pick Profit. So now you can't leave. Boom, free pick winner last night. Utah Jazz -6 covers, no problemo, without a sweat. We'll take that one to the bank and keep the winning ways going, jumping back into another free play in the NBA here today, looking to get you guys another winner. Of course, guys, these are just the freebies. If you want our best plays, our premium plays, hit us up with a DM if you have any questions, or check the link in our bio to get a weekly, monthly, daily, whatever pick package suits you best. We got it for you. Here we go. Let's jump into the free play for today. I'm going to be taking a look at this Miami Heat versus Toronto Raptors matchup. And let's start with their against the spread records. Heat 5-7 straight up, just 4-7-1 ATS. Raptors 5-8 straight up, 4-9 against the spread. Let's start with the Miami Heat. They're 1-4 when playing away from their home building. And their next 4 games that they're going to be going on this little road trip are a pair of doubleheaders. This one, with 2 against the Raptors they'll play, and then 2 against Brooklyn. So tough little stretch for them right now. And the Raptors are starting to play better. So this shouldn't be easy for a shorthanded Heat team. Jimmy Butler looks like he'll still be out for this Wednesday matchup against the Raptors, and they may also be without Tyler Hero. He's questionable as of now. We'll keep our eye posted closer to game time, but and of course, no Avery Bradley still. So that's basically, without Hero and Butler, 2 of the team's top 3 scoring threats. And it's been a little hard for them to really get that offense clicking without those guys. So let's see what the Heat can muster up behind Goran Dragic and Duncan Robinson and Bam Adebayo, if it's enough to be able to hang in games. And it's going to have to be. So they're going to lean on those guys for an offensive spark. Obviously losing Avery Bradley as well, not having him is a major piece in terms of perimeter defending. So that matters for the Heat too. And speaking of defending, they did have a top 10 scoring defense. They weren't allowing very many points to open the season, and without their defensive captains like Jimmy Butler and Avery Bradley, they've gone all the way from a top 10 defense to now being ranked 24th in the league in opposing teams, averaging 113.8 points per game against them. That's a lot of buckets you're giving up, and they've fallen now down to 23rd overall in defensive efficiency. So Heat teams usually pride themselves on the defense, but without some key pieces, just unable to sustain that and limit teams. A lot of scoring giving up. That's going to be tough for you. So let's take a look at some their recent trends. Miami's 1-4-1 against the spread in their last 6 games. They're not covering. They're not winning either because they're 2-4 straight up in those games. Forget the spread. They dropped 4 of their last 6. So Miami's struggling a bit right now. Their last couple games, they played a pair against the Detroit Pistons. They split those. One, they lost by 20, and the other, wasn't that easy of a game for them. So they won by 6 in the end. But some tough games against the Detroit Pistons. Let's see how they fare against a Raptors team that's starting to heat up. Raptors, rocky start to the season, but they've quietly started to turn things around here, and that's behind some consistency from Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet. They've gotten it going. Inconsistency on the other end, Pascal Siakam. One game looks like his old self, absolutely dominant, unstoppable. The other game, he can't sink a shot. So he's sort of hot and cold. We'll see what we get out of Siakam in this game, and I imagine Bam Adebayo will be covering him for a good majority of this game. So that'll be an interesting matchup to keep our eyes on. But they've won 3 in a row. 3 straight games for the Raptors have ended in W's, and it's important to note that, all those victories came on their home floor. Home floor, you ask? Not in Toronto. Yeah, they're playing in Tampa. They've had to relocate this season, and they're now 4-2 in their new home. So they've had to get adjusted, but looks like they've found it, suitable for them. Now they're getting on the winning track when they play in their, in their would-be home in Tampa. So, what's helped them a lot is their offensive spark, actually. Chris Boucher suddenly arriving on the scene as an offensive threat for them, and he's sort of been that 4th scoring presence for them. You got Lowry, you got VanVleet, you got Siakam, and now you got Chris Boucher, who has scored 20-plus points in his last 4 consecutive outings. So that's going to help having a 4th option on that offense. Nice play out of him. And, that extra firepower, I think, is going to play a big role against a Heat team that I mentioned is shorthanded and maybe struggling for some offensive firepower as of late. They're a little light in the scoring department. So, for the Raptors, they're heating up at the right time. They've dropped 110-plus points, 110 or more, in 8 of their last 9 games. They're starting to drop buckets on teams, and they're 9th in three-point percentage now, so top 10 three-point shooting team. Defensively, starting to play a little bit better, too. They now move to 10th in field goal percentage against, so they're making it harder for teams to score against them from the field, and they're opposing teams in their last 3 games to just 43.4% shooting against them. So defense starting to lock up in the last 3. Gotta like what that says about how the Raptors are coming together after a really awful start to the season, starting to find their way a little bit, it looks like. So let's conclude this thing, figure out where we want to make the play. Well, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, Miami's only won 1 game away from home. They're 1-4 on the road, and that one victory on the road came against the Washington Wizards, who we can't really say too many great things about. Amazing backcourt in Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, but that team has some of the worst defense I've ever witnessed in my life. So I'm not going to give you too many, accolades for beating the Wizards on the road. And the Heat are just in a rough spot right now without some of their key guys. The Raptors starting to figure things out, come together as a unit. They're a better team, the Raptors are, than their record reflects right now, and I think that's starting to show in their last few victories. Even before their 3-game win streak they had 2 1-point losses, I believe. One of those to the Warriors. So they're playing in tight games even when they're not winning. And I think that this team finds another good spot here for them. Heat are shorthanded. Raptors are figuring things out. This looks like a 4th straight victory for the Raptors playing at home in this one. And the Heat off to what should be a difficult road trip. So I say Raptors make it a 4th in a row. And to that avail, we're going to play the Raptors -4 in this one. They should be able to win by a couple buckets. And I see that playing out in our favor. So we'll go Raptors -4 today, and that's going to be the free play in the NBA today. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're looking for a new book, a second book, always good to have extra lines available. I highly recommend checking out BETUS, guys. We have a promo code with them, PICK125, and that gets you 125% of your deposit match, all the way up to $2.5 thousand. So if you've been considering a new book, you don't like the one you're on, or you want multiple, books to look at, always, shop lines, gonna scan the market for what's best. I highly recommend you check out BETUS. Hit us up if you have any questions about that. We can help you get set up with the book. They're great to us. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Good luck to everyone tailing. Let's go get this money. Booyah, Kasha.